Hello, Coding with Scratch. We are back with some hints for the Choose Your Adventure Challenge, Challenge 4 in our 5-part series. In this challenge, you have to create a story and tell the story through Scratch, and then have parts of the story where the user can choose which way the story is going to go. In our intro video, we talked about where the story ideas come from and how you might want to write down your story ideas and then collect your graphics and sounds and anything you need to put your story onto the screen, and think about the places in the story where the user is going to be able to make some choices. We emphasized the importance of the broadcast commands like this one. Every place in the story where you've got a major event, you want to use broadcast to make sure all your sprites and backdrops are looking just as they should. Let's take another look at our Goldilocks project that we looked at last time. As you remember, there's a choice at the beginning. Goldilocks can decide to go into the cottage or stay outside. If she goes into the cottage, there's a change of scene, and we see a different backdrop, and there's some music playing and things like that. So that's a pretty straightforward choice. We can see we use the ask and answer blocks to get what the user wants to do, and then we'll just do two different broadcasts depending on what the choice is. But there's other kinds of choices too. Let's look at the inside script. When she gets inside the cottage, she has some choices, and she's going to have a choice. She spots some bowls of mac and cheese, and she has to decide whether to eat them or not. Now, nothing major changes when she eats the mac and cheese or not, but that's going to affect the story down the line. So we need to save that information about whether she ate it or not so that we can use it correctly later. So I've created a variable here called ate mac and cheese. And as you can see at the beginning of this script from the broadcast, it sets the variable to no. Now, variables can be numbers. They can also be words and letters. So here it starts out as no. Later, if she decides to eat it, that variable gets set to yes. And then we can use that later on in our story so that the story will go correctly and it'll know what the user chose earlier on. Other things that you might need to store in a variable in case your story has something involving maybe the character collects something, it finds a key or something like that, and if they have that key, or maybe they have some power or knowledge that they've gained along the way, you would want to store that information in a variable, what we call a state variable, talking about the state of the character. Okay, and you can see here we've also got some dialogue later on. If whether she eats the mac and cheese or not, she's going to meet a bear, as Goldilocks often does. And this bear might be angry with her depending on whether she eats the mac and cheese or not. So we need to use that information in the bear. Let's take a look at the bear script here. So there the bear is angry because she ate the mac and cheese. Alternatively, if she did not eat the mac and cheese, then the bear may be happy. You can see what happens for the bad ending if the bear is angry. But I was trying to think what we could do for the happy ending here at the bottom, the else in the if eaten mac and cheese. I was thinking maybe it'd be good for the bear and Goldilocks to do a little dance together. This is a good opportunity to talk about the more blocks command, so we can do our dance as a more block. You don't necessarily need to use the more blocks command. It's not something you need for this challenge, but a lot of people have been asking about it and want to know how it works. With more blocks, you're able to create your own block. And basically there's a make a block button. So if I wanted to, for example, make a block that would make the bear here dance. So let's click on the block here. So I'm going to call my block dance. And I want this block to dance for a certain number of seconds. So I'll say dance for, and in order to allow the block to take a number and to have a number of seconds, I'll go to options and click on number input. You can see it puts a number there. And if I want to tell it it's seconds, then I say label what that number is going to be. So okay, so I've got my block defined here, so I say okay, and as you can see it's created this block for us to use in our scripts, and so I can put this in my script, the appropriate place, but we still don't know what dancing is yet. And so you can see there's this big purple rounded section. I'm going to shrink my screen here so we can see more of this. Okay, here we have our dance this is where we can define what that block should do. Okay, and because we said it should be for a number of seconds, that's going to require us to use the timer. So I'm going to start with the timer here, and of course I'm going to reset it right at the beginning, and then I'm going to use the repeat until. So it's going to do something until the timer is up. Right now, how do I know the timer is up? Well, I'm going to use a greater than, repeat until our timer variable is now bigger than what? Than the number of seconds that they're supposed to dance for. And that's right here. So just drag that down from the top. Get in there. Alright, good. Now it says repeat until the timer is bigger than the number of seconds specified. Okay, then I've got to do my dance. I've got a little dance moves right here. This is kind of a dumb dance where they move randomly, but you can get a sense of how this works. Let me stretch my screen up here. Let's say I want to dance for 20 seconds. I double click on this and you can see it's doing a little dance for as long as I want it to. Is that 20 seconds? Just about. Okay, and that's how you can use the more blocks, where you can define your own blocks to do anything you want. You have to specify what information goes into that block and then what you do with that. So you can see in this example with the dancing, come back here, Bear. Now I can do the same thing. Let's say I just want him to dance for 3 seconds, double click, and he dances and then stops after 3. Okay, and that's because of the way we use the timer there. You can define your own kind of blocks for anything you want. That's particularly useful if it's something where you need to do it a lot. Let's say there was a lot of places in our script where we wanted to dance, then this dance block would come in very handy. It could make our script a lot simpler to read, and I wouldn't have to repeat the same code over and over again. Each sprite has to define its more blocks itself, but of course you can't copy things from one sprite to another simply by dragging them. So if I wanted my Goldilocks to be able to dance, I could drag this over to her, and then she now has that block as well, and I can have her dance as well. Oh, not there. Where did she go? Oh, okay. We've got it on top of each other. Alright, so then I can make her dance at the end as well. Okay, so and I did that again by dragging my stack of blocks over to the sprite that I wanted to put it to, and then letting go. It copies it over there. So those are some hints that you can use for your Coding Your Adventure challenge. Look forward to seeing all the great adventures that you come up with. Good luck.